Winston Churchill famously said, "It's not the end, it's not even the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning." The pioneer experience crossing the plains started at the Nauvoo Temple. As you know, in Nauvoo, they were basically being forced out by mobs, by terrorists. So we're going to start here, right here at the temple, and there's a reason for that, and that's because that's where they started.
I think the pioneers trekked because they understood that there was strength in numbers and they wanted to be together so they could build a Zion society.
That they wanted to get away from all the pain and misery that was inflicted on them by the Missourians.
Because they had purpose, they had a testimony of the truthfulness of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Because they wanted freedom of religion, to be able to practice what they believed somewhere where they wouldn't be persecuted.
And they had to do it together, and so they were willing to make those sacrifices.
And they knew that God would strengthen them and bring them to a better place.
I think for them it was very much an opportunity to create a new beginning for them. It was very symbolic, I think, for the early saints to kind of leave behind the life that they had and begin a new Zion.
And I think it was a faith-building experience that made it possible for the church to have the strong foundation that it has today.
But ultimately, they were commanded and were looking forward to building a community that was special, that was built upon gospel principles, upon testimony and faith in Christ.
They trekked across the whole country just so that they would be able to live the way they knew the Lord wanted them to live.
So we're here. I think most of our kids are here because they want the experience.
It's the thing that will stick with them for many, many years. They'll all remember. If they've done something else this weekend, they never remember what it was, but they'll always remember this trek.
And we trek so that we can maybe understand a little better what those people went through and what they sacrificed.
As we go on the road of life, they need to move forward. We're here. Once we're here, we just need to push forward, push forward.
As we emulate things that our pioneers did, we actually can gain a strong testimony of the gospel.
I trekked because it was a great opportunity to try and remember the sacrifices and the tough things that our pioneers went to and compare them to the problems that we have and that our youth have today.
And we trekked so that we can follow our pioneer heritage, so that we can learn more about the gospel and so that we can find the hope in the gospel that we see in that pioneer heritage.
And we bond and bind together. We talk about the gospel, we share experiences, and it turns out it really is an opportunity to build faith in Christ and a desire to follow the words of a prophet and to exalt in the fact that we are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
With the music,
Thanks, boy, and thanks to all of you.